Get ready for a bumpy ride. Next stop, train to Busan. Welcome back to the movie Squawk. I'm Kyle, and with me, as always, Gigi, Hannah, and Trevor.
I
Hi. Hi.
And today's movie pick is my movie pick, which is Train to Busan. It is I guess, action. What would you call it? Action
action thriller, zombie
thriller,
thriller.
zombie thriller movie. It's a Korean movie. No English involved in this film, so that's fun.
Yeah. A lot of
Um,
reading.
yeah, Gigi enjoyed the reading, so we'll do more of those in the future. So yeah, Google tells me that this movie very short and sweet. I like this. A man, his estranged daughter, and other passengers become trapped on a speeding train during a zombie outbreak in South Korea. So yeah, I mean that's pretty accurate, short and simple. Um, so yeah, I mean it's really good movie. It's got some people in it. They're all Korean, and I don't know how to pronounce any of their names, so I'm not even gonna try. I know we usually do that kind of thing, but I'm not gonna do that. Um, yeah, it came out in 2016. It's about a 2 hour movie, and it's a really good one. Very emotional, very dramatic, very action packed, and all that. So I got 9 questions today, so we should just get right into them. Uh, First question: how do you think you'd fit into this story? Would you be a fighter, a protector, selfish, or helpless?
I said I'd be a protector, probably just traveling from one place to another. But that's assuming I'm not caught unawares and eaten right away, like a lot of the passengers were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if I was like put directly in that film, I probably would have fought against the business guy, the one who's like sacrificing people left and right.
fuck
Yeah.
that guy.
Badass.
Probably going so far as to have to like restrain him,
Ooh.
like just get him out of the way because he was doing a lot more harm than good.
Right.
And but we'll talk more about him later.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, big topic.
Thanks for your commentary, Gigi.
You're welcome. I feel like it adds a little spice.
Go ahead.
So I put I would be a protector. Um,
Interesting.
um, I would like to think I wouldn't just like roll over and take it. So I would like to think I would try to put up a fight. Um, and I agree with Trevor. Like that's the business guy.
It's not
Next.
about him.
It's not, but that's what would do.
I wrote that I think I would fit into the story as a protector. I think the original introduction of the zombies would be jarring for everyone, no matter what role they were in, but
Yeah.
for me, my heart and my strength lies with those that I care for. I'm the type of person who cares deeply, even to the extent that I have like a general uncomfort with the notion of like putting on an air mask in a plane first before a child's. Like that's just not how that should go, but apparently it's better.
Yes. Well, you can't help
um,
them if you're unconscious. So
that's true, but
that's
like
one way
I
to look at it.
my natural instincts are like I want to put the mask on the child first. Save the child.
Child, you're better than I. Save me.
Yes.
Somebody,
Save me,
please
child.
think of the children.
But no matter who I was with, like family or friends, I think I would only have the mind capacity to keep them safe. Um, I even if I was just on the train by myself, I think I would automatically have a mindset to protect those who couldn't protect themselves, like elderly, children, pregnant mothers, people that are who are like paralyzed with fear. I kind of just have this like conscience that I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I could have done something to help, so I would feel like I would have to be in the protector role out of all those.
Nice. Um, yeah, I guess I as well. I wrote down protector. Um, I'm assuming if I was traveling on a train like that, I'd be with either my girlfriend or someone close to me. And if danger was all around us, I'd hope that I would put myself in front of other people and sort of just rise to the occasion, protect them at all costs. I mean, I don't know. I don't really see myself putting myself out there, but if I was like pushed up against the wall, not literally, or maybe literally, whatever, but like if I had to, I would be like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing now. Um, so I mean, yeah, I think I would just be a protector more out of like necessity, I guess. Like I feel like I have to do it, and yeah, I would put myself out and protect other people, whether I knew them or not, and I'd probably make it not that far, but at least I went out fighting, trying.
That's what
That's my
counts.
motto.
I
We
would
tried.
I would think that if I was alone, like by myself and had nobody with me on this train, I'd probably either be selfish or a
Wow.
fighter and just like go for it. I'd probably be a fighter though, just be like, "Ah, fuck it. I'm going to figure this shit out and I'm going to, I'm going to lead the way." But I don't know. I feel like after writing this question, it's kind of like fighter and protector can kind of be deemed as like the same thing almost in a way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because I mean, zombies they're not going to stop until you kill them.
yeah,
So you have to fight to
True.
protect.
I think the main
Yeah.
difference is that, like, even if you're a fighter, you could just be fighting for yourself.
true.
True.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're fighting for.
My pride.
Like, if you were some video game kid who was, like, always dreamed of actually fighting zombies, and that was your motivation going into it, like, odds are you're not a protector.
Yeah. But you're still helping someone.
True.
Yourself.
Kinda. Yeah.
And the guy closely following you behind. You're like, oh look, he knocked out a zombie. I'm just gonna keep going this way.
You're helping your following.
Yes.
Because odds are you're broadcasting it.
That is true. It's your boy live streaming.
Yeah. So I guess there's zombies on a train now. That's the new that's the new big thing right now. So I'm hopping on that.
One way ticket, am I right, guys?
All right. Moving on. Question 2. Besides the main character and his daughter, who were you rooting for in this film?
I would say the dad, the cool one, the one who was
The cool one.
pretty much like protecting everyone else the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a real good dude, and I think he would have been a great dad. Uh, I would label him as a badass of the highest caliber.
Ah, yes.
Just the way, like,
Gold standard.
he was just manhandling some of these zombies, like
Right?
lifting them up into the air like they weighed
Like a sumo
nothing.
wrestler, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
and then just like slamming
homeboy.
him down. Like this dude
Boy's great.
was pretty cool.
Yeah,
He was beast.
he was. He was. He was also who I was rooting for. Um, pretty much for the same reason as Trevor. Like, I think his backstory, he was like part of like a mafia, and like he was a bodyguard, and like he put his skills of killing people or being trained to kill people to good use by killing zombies, and like he's a hero in my eyes.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yes, Sanghua or Songhua, I think was his name, and
Uh-huh.
his wife were definitely the ones that I rooted for. I could tell from the start that they were so excited to be a family, and my heart just melted the moment that we met them.
Yeah.
And also seeing how good Sanghua was already with children, like with that moment with him and I think his name is Sakwu, the father, the like main father.
Uh,
When Sanghua has a moment with his daughter, and just like, you know, how good his instincts were already, I was like, yeah, I knew I had to root for him.
right?
Him
Yeah.
and his wife, and I think they deserved more than anyone on that train to get out of there. So I'm sad that one of them didn't.
Which one? No.
Oh my
Um,
Wow,
god.
did you even watch the movie?
I know, right?
yeah. So far we're all on the same page. Yeah, I went with gotta go with my man, the husband dude, big macho man, whatever. I don't know his name.
Randy
Sanghua.
Savage.
Yeah, Randy Savage. I mean, I first of all, I thought he was hilarious. Like he had a lot of like backhanded or not backhanded compliments. What do you call them?
Comebacks.
Yeah, he had a lot of like comebacks and like name calling, but it wasn't like he wasn't like deliberately trying to be a jerk. He was just pointing out people who were being jerks and kind of giving them that same sort of like I don't know. If that's how you're going to treat other people, then I'm going to call you a dumbass or whatever he said to the father. He kept calling
Yeah.
him I can't remember what he was calling him, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I think that overall he was hilarious, and I mean, he was just like the perfect amount of like a fighter, protector, and he did everything he possibly could for the sake of his wife and his unborn child, and he formed some really good relationships, especially with the father, main character. I really like their dynamic and how they both sort of, grew as friends over the course of the movie. Because the beginning, they're just like, he's like basically just thinking that this guy's the father, the main character is like a douchebag and all this and that, and like doesn't care about his daughter. But as the movie goes on, like he's talking with the father and he's saying like, oh, you do a lot of things for your daughter, like this job that you have is just you know it's all the ultimate sacrifice for the good of your family. um and I thought it was really cool how he kind of like quickly adapted to the situation with the zombies and all that, and I just think overall he was like a highlight of the movie for me and just a fun character to watch. And yeah, rest in peace. Question number 3. I'm gonna mess up these names here. What do you think of Seok Woo, the father, and Sue Ann's relationship? Does he grow as a father mid-film, or did he always have that in him and just forgot what was most important in his life?
I put he was probably going to continue on that trajectory of being a bad dad. It took a zombie apocalypse and almost losing his daughter to realize what was important to him. Um, so it might have been in him all along, but he needed like some sort of catalyst to release his inner dad.
Inner
Um,
dead.
I think if let's say there was no like leak going on about from the what nuclear factory or whatever it was, power
Oh,
plant.
Biotech something or other.
Yeah, like if that never happened, they probably just would have gone on to Busan. He drops her off, and then he goes back, and then he continues working. I don't think he would have developed at
yeah.
all. But throughout the movie, he did. He like I said, he uh, his inner dad came out. Like he realized like he can't lose. What's her name? Suan.
I think so.
Hmm.
Like he was doing all this for her. It
Yeah,
just it took a lot for him to realize that.
Yeah.
for sure.
Um, yeah, I kind of put with like it kind of has that stereotypical, oh, the dad works too hard and like something major happens and then he realizes, oh, I've been working too hard. So, um, I think it was a good development for him to do that. Um, to I guess realize that he should be spending time with his daughter. And I mean, it's not his ex-wife; they're just separated. But realizing that he should be spending time with his family, which is kind of odd at the same time because he lives with his mom. So like he has some sort of family thing going, but not in the right direction, I guess. Um, but yeah, that's it.
For me, I definitely think that it was something that Sekwu always possessed within him, but kind of just forgot over the years. When a father first holds his child, something changes in him. Like he becomes a protector in that first moment, and we kind of get a glimpse of that when he's going to die. And
Yeah.
it's
You mean
like
when
a
he
very,
turns?
yeah, when he's like turning and he's kind of his life is flashing before his eyes.
Yeah.
And it's a very special moment for him when he's first holding that kid because it's he's willing to do anything for that child um, from the first second. So I think in doing that he ended up sacrificing everything, just as Sanghua mentioned to him when they were on the train together. Like he sacrificed his time, his relationship, everything just to make sure that his child was protected.
Yeah.
So um, it's just sort of like he, he wasn't exactly being a bad dad. He was just sacrificing too much of his time to protect the child, but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he just sort of overdid his job as a father and therefore kind of forgot what the job actually was. But, like Trevor mentioned, it took a zombie apocalypse to help him realize that. And he definitely grew in over the course of the film, but I don't think it was that he was learning how to dad for the first time. He was, relearning the true meaning of being a dad and, how to rebond with his daughter now that she's older and much wiser beyond her years because that is a smart kid. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's a
It's just
very
like a
giving
change in
kid.
their relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with Hannah. Like I like to think that he was always a good father, or at least always wanted to be a good father. Um, and obviously we don't get this backstory because that's not what the film's about. But I think as the years went on after his child was born, it seems like his work kind of sucked him in more and more. Um, and he just got busier and busier, and somewhere along the way, his number one priority just became work. And I don't think it was ever intentional. But the reason I say this is just because, um, at the end of the film, when he's about to die or turn, he does reminisce on something that is most important to him, which is his daughter. And I think just seeing that sort of flashback of him holding his child for the first time. I mean, a lot of things happen over the course of, you know, 10 years or however old she is. She was probably somewhere around like 7 to 10, probably. I don't know. But things can change as a parent, but I just think seeing that shot of him holding his daughter for the first time, like it just looked like it was like this genuine instant love for his daughter as soon as he held her. And yeah, I definitely think he grew during the film, but I don't think it was like a new thing for him, like, oh, so this is how I be a father. Like I think it was just more of like he forgot what was most important in his life and had to sort of have this, really tragic event happen for him to be able to put his priorities in place. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty painful the first half of the movie to see this sort of disconnect between them, but it was very heartwarming to see them have some very emotional scenes, and it's very clear how much they loved each other and seeing the character development throughout the film was very well done, in my opinion. All right. Question number 4. How do you think the situation would have panned out had the old lady slash sister of the other old lady not opened the car and let the zombies in?
I think they would have been safe. As the movie had already shown, um, just going through the tunnels, these zombies can't really operate in the dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were just operating by sight or what was going on, but like they seem to sort of become very passive, almost in the dark. So, and continuing on that, like they seem to be very based on like eyesight, like not like oh I smell meat, but like I see something moving, let's attack it.
Yeah.
So, like one person did the fire extinguisher on the glass, and once you couldn't see through the door, like they're like, okay, well, there's obviously nothing behind that. So, I think they would have been safe. They would have gotten to the second or that last train station, the one with the train that was for some reason on fire. Um, and then from there, I think the connector, he would have seen all that, and then being pretty good at his job, he's like, okay, well, let me get this other train, and we'll keep moving. So I think it would have led to like all of them going down the tunnel, and then that's where it could maybe get a little ambiguous because there's like this huge group, which the army they're probably not used to huge groups anymore. Like huge groups are now zombies.
Yeah.
But if there's like talking or shouting or singing or whatever, obviously zombies don't do that stuff. So
That we know
they would have
of.
gone, okay, cool, survivors. But if there wasn't talking, singing, shouting, whatever, they probably would have been shot on sight.
Hmm.
So it it really varies, but I think they would have at the very least gotten to that train stop safe and
Yeah.
a lot more survivors, and then maybe the business guy wouldn't have been such an asshole at that point just because he had more people with him.
I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, I mean he was definitely all about like
Me.
self-preservation at any cost, but um, like he got what he wanted. He got to the next train station,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Um, so I put that the people in the front train probably would have died. I feel like the business guy would have done something selfish and it would have pretty much backfired and um, they would have got killed. um, so I think that maybe they would have gotten to the second train or that station, but I feel like I think there were zombies all around the train if I remember correctly, like the trains surrounding the train that they came from. So I feel like he probably would have opened like the train door without like actually looking at the windows. He was just like train and then open it and then zombies would have came out and I feel like that would have put the group in like even more danger. So or he would have done something stupid like that. Like I feel like he would have caused their deaths anyways. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of on the same train as Gigi on
Train.
that one. Um, I honestly don't think much would have changed. I think the businessman would have kept sacrificing people to get
Yeah.
out, and a lot of those people that were trapped with him on that side would have still died. Um, I think that the sister's motives in opening that door was just to kill that man, and I don't think she knew that he would still somehow survive.
Yeah.
So even if she hadn't have pulled the door, like he still would have caused mayhem.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, I think it would have been interesting, or it might have been interesting, but I think those people that were left in there, they seem very unhinged and more or less like helpless or cowards than like actual fighters. Like it seemed like a lot of them didn't really know how to protect themselves against the zombies. I
They
mean,
were like
clearly,
sheep.
yeah, yeah, because I
He was the
mean,
leader.
yeah, because I feel like the main group that we saw, throughout the movie, they adapted, and I feel like the rest of the people on the train didn't, and that's sort of why they all died. Um, so I don't know if it really would have been, any different. Um, I don't know. I mean, they might have been kept safe until they got to, where the train stopped. And then from there, they would have probably had to fight for the first time after they got out of the train. But I still feel like I could see it like falling apart, even if that lady didn't open the door. Like something else would have happened where they would have just died anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but either that or I feel like that asshole businessman would have just screwed them over somehow anyway. Like something else would have happened, I feel like, even if that lady didn't open the door. So no matter what, I don't think the outcome would have been that different, but maybe more survivors at the end. Um, but no one really that important besides the main characters. All right. Question number 5. Speaking of survivors, do you think it's realistic that only 2 people survived this incident? What do you think could have been changed to have more people survive?
I think it is. These were fast zombies, and
Hmm.
people were pretty quick to turn on each other,
Yeah.
or too afraid to speak up against bad decisions.
Yeah.
If they got rid of the business guy, they would have had a better chance of more survivors.
Mm.
But I think definitely two. Like I was kind of expecting zero at the end, but um, two was probably realistic in this situation.
Yeah.
I mean, given fucking burning trains were coming out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what the hell was going on in this movie?
Yeah. I agree with Trevor. I also felt it was realistic. I also agree with either killing the business guy or isolating him. I also think that if everyone had been more helpful or maybe um, more in tune with like their actual, um, more in tune with not being selfish, the fact of like they went ahead and listened to this guy when he told them they were infected and like not necessarily like actually looking at them or like not using their common sense given the fact that they're probably just hysterical because of what's happening. um yeah, I think if people were a little more like, okay, let's like be rational instead of very hasty, I think it would have been a lot more survivors.
I said yes, absolutely. These people were completely unprepared when the outbreak hit them, and as a predicted result, a lot of them died. Given that these zombies were also fast and completely unpredictable, there was also an outcome in my mind where, like Trevor said, no one made it. um, but I'm a sucker for stories where the innocent and pure survive, so I was overjoyed that the pregnant woman and the daughter did make it. As far as the setting, I don't think there is much that could be changed to ensure more survivors. No one is prepared for a zombie outbreak as much as I think they are. There's no zombie outbreak protocols. There's obviously protocols for outbreaks of sickness, but not to like this extent, and definitely not in a world where, a world like ours that's like a natural world, and there's no way we're prepared for zombies.
Yeah.
Even if they had taken out the businessman earlier, like that's probably the most ideal change in the setting, I think, but something else would have happened, kind of like Kyle mentioned. Like it's just kind of one disaster after another in these kinds of situations. So I don't think much could change that would ensure survivors. I think it's really luck if you do survive. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's absolutely realistic.
Yeah, I think um, if anything could have changed, it could have been, people, if people just worked together more. Um, there were a lot of people that were very on edge, which is understandable in this type of situation, but no one seemed to trust anyone, and that just pitted people against one another, which um, was kind of unfortunate to see. Um, no one in the movie really seemed to step up as a leader except for, the main group. Uh, so I think a lot of these people were doomed from the start just because of their stubbornness and being so untrusting of others. So to answer the first part of the question, I think it's realistic that only two people survived. I think it would have been realistic if nobody survived. Um, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that two people even did survive. And if you look at these two people, it's a pregnant lady and a dot and a little girl. Like you would think that it would be like these strong, resilient people that would survive, but these two, I think they're strong in their own way, but definitely had the right people around them to help them make it out of this incident.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's realistic that it's only two people, and one person or zero people would have been just as realistic, in my opinion. Um, yeah. Question number 6. If Suan was not crying slash singing Aloha Oe in the tunnel, do you really think the military would have pulled the trigger? Also, how would that have impacted the ending for you?
They would have been shot for sure. The military is trained to obey orders, and the order was to kill them. And it even shows the gunner, he was getting ready to pull the trigger before he heard her singing.
Yeah.
They definitely would have been shot. I As far as how would it have changed the ending for me, um, I don't know. I would have accepted it. Like, yeah, that's kind of what happens. Like, they're if you want to be quiet, going down through a dark tunnel, like that's yeah. I mean, I would not have blamed the military guy at all. Like, he's following orders.
Right.
I can see how they could be interpreted as zombies, and you gotta keep whatever you're protecting safe. So that's just it would have been an alternate ending, I think, for me.
It would have been so sad too if they were just being quiet in the tunnel to avoid any zombies that might be hiding in the tunnel
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, would have been so sad.
And I agree with Trevor. I think they would have pulled the trigger, resulting in a very sad ending. Um, I mean, it would have definitely been a downer. um, but I
Oh,
could
bummer,
see it
dude.
being an, like Trevor said, an alternate ending.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I said in a world where the opening of The Last of Us exists, I definitely believe that there would have been people that would have shot a girl and a woman just to follow orders.
yeah,
Quarantine rules are very, very strict, and technically, with those soldiers not shooting them, they are disobeying direct orders.
Yep.
yeah,
So, yes, there's definitely an end to this movie that exists in my head where they did shoot,
mm,
and it was very sad. But it would also impact the ending for me because it would change the moral of the story for me. The moral from the original ending that we have was kind of like a preservation of innocence and a preservation of purity in the world. And this alternate end, I think, would have signified an end to innocence and an end to purity. And that kind of would have changed it for me.
And the end of mankind.
Yeah. Innocence lost is a very dark subject matter, and it's very hard to come back from in a lot of things. But since there's so much loss in the filmmakers probably didn't want to overdo it at that point. So I think, and for me personally, I think it's always nice to see a dark story have some hope in the end, which is kind of what I think they were going for. But yeah, like I
Surprise
said,
twist, there's a meteor that hit them all
oh
right at
no,
the end.
they
It
went
was
out
all
like
for
the
nothing.
dinosaurs. Crap. But yeah, like I said, I'm a sucker for stories with, you know, a girl and a pregnant woman surviving over all those people that could have.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're also a fan of stories that make you feel like shit and get you all depressed. So,
That's true. That is
God
absolutely
damn.
true.
so it could have gone either way for you,
Pointed
Hannah.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I
All
like
right.
a little hope, Kyle. Just a little hope.
And then they pull the rug right under you afterward.
I was like,
So many rugs.
just a little positivity. Not a lot, though.
Yeah.
Not a lot. It's fine.
It's all right. I'm right there with you.
This week on Exposed.
So for me in that last scene, I kind of held my breath the first time I watched this movie because I was so afraid they were gonna shoot them, and I think overall that would have just broke my heart.
I
And
think butts were clenched for sure.
oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All across the board.
Yeah, it would have made the movie for me feel like it was all for nothing. All the sacrifices and all the people lost for these two to make it, and in the end they just end up dying. Like, I don't know, I feel like that would have left me with such an empty feeling, and I feel like it would have been like a little bit like overdoing it. Because I do think that even movies that are dark or there's like zero desperation, whatever. I feel like having hope is like, sort of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Literally.
Yeah. I
Literally.
mean, I don't mind depressing endings, but I just feel like this one was already depressing enough, and enough was enough for me. So, yeah. Moving on to question number 7. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole biotech plot point was a compelling one, but perhaps could have been left out of their overall story. Why do you think it was included?
I actually missed the dialogue in the movie about the connection, so I had to look it up later.
Uh,
And from what I read, I think it was just to show the connection between like this zombie outbreak and the main character.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't the main character's fault that there was a containment link in the first place. Like that's not his job. Like he
yeah.
doesn't work there, so I'm not gonna put that blame on him. But from my understanding, he was telling, I guess, his company or the people that he does like all the shares for, like just sell all the shares for that company or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so he was just, he's doing his job, and I think probably doing it well because like that's a major fuck up, and that's what you do. You sell the shares before they drop, so you can make some profit off of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's just doing his job.
Yeah, but like probably for character development to kind of go, well, like the work you're doing I don't know, isn't as important as your family. So I just kind of went with that route of like you realize like fuck. I invested the wrong thing, but like
Fuck.
Trevor said, he was just doing his job. So yeah.
For me, I think the subplot was definitely unnecessary. I think from what I got of it, I think the filmmakers were trying to put it in to kind of signify an extra layer of responsibility for the father, kind of like to truly put the nail in the coffin that he had to change himself. Like he may have, through that connection, felt like an extra sense of responsibility for all the people that he was with. But I think because of the people that were sacrificing themselves for him and his daughter, that was already enough for him to change. And I didn't think that that extra element needed to be added, but for some reason I think the filmmakers felt like he wasn't compelling enough or wasn't strong enough to change and kind of added that in extra, but I didn't like it.
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it really impacted the overall story for me that much. I think it sort of made the father more full of regret of his actions, I guess, because he did seem to be the kind of person that would kind of blame himself for certain things if he was involved in them. I did like though in that scene. I feel like there was some cool symbolism after he ended the phone call with his associate. I don't know if it was like his assistant. I can't remember. I think it was his assistant. But after that, he kind of looks at himself in the mirror and he looks down at his hands and he sees all this blood on his hands. And I feel like it's meant to be like, like this is what have I done,
He's
Yeah.
got blood on his hands.
He's got blood on his hands literally and I feel like with his job like he has blood on his hands there too because of this whole biotech plant thing with the contamination and the infection and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think in the in the whole story itself, I don't think it's his fault. I mean, he's just doing his job, and it's not his fault that happened. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did like that scene because I feel like it really showed this emotional side of him, and he just kind of breaks down, and it's like right before sort of the final act of the movie where he has to man up one more time to save his daughter, and yeah, I think it's just a nice sort of transition into the final act of the film, if anything. All right. Question number 8. Yun Suk, the selfish businessman, is responsible for a lot of people's deaths, including the main character. Which death caused by him were you the most upset about?
Senghua, the cool dad. Yeon Suk was indirectly responsible for his death by having the others tie the door closed.
Mm-hmm.
And Senghua, he was doing all he could to keep the others safe, and he proved to be a very helpful person in the zombie apocalypse. And
Yep.
he's definitely a cool guy, and kind of hoping he would make it.
Yeah.
But well, with the doors being closed, he had to try to keep the door he was trying to keep closed, and like I was kind of using up all his strength, and then I think even at the end, if I remember correctly, he was still like the door was open, and then he was still trying to fight off the zombies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While the others were trying to just struggle to get in. So like, fuck Yansuk.
Yeah, moral of the story.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I agree, Trevor. Like, that was the most. That sucked because, like, they were so close, and then that dick was like, no, don't do it. And then, like,
Yeah.
I think he said it in that tone too.
Impression. Yeah.
yeah, thanks. Stop.
Doors.
Yeah. I'd like to think of him as like a whiny Starbucks loving person. I don't know.
Starbucks.
So I made my mochaccino wrong. I do. Anyways, but I wouldn't be a dick and like tie people. Like I'd be like, just show me you're not bitten, and I find out you're bitten, like
Strip.
you're off this train, bruh. Um, yeah, so his death was definitely not necessary, but I think I can't remember who kept saying like, "No, don't leave your hand there," and then he got his hand bit. So like,
Yeah.
homie was trying though, and like, I'm so sad. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it
Homie,
anymore.
come on the show. Come on the show, homie.
Yeah, like they mentioned, I'll never get over Sanghua's demise. Like,
No!
let's just get that out of the way.
I love how we're all just in agreement.
I'm
Yeah.
so sad about that.
That
But
was so cool.
I will say that in addition to him, I was also very upset when he sacrificed the baseball player's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
overall,
Such a
I
dick
did not
move.
care for those two all that much. But
uh-huh.
the way that she went out is such a dick move that I
Yeah.
was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how
Because
low
that
could
just
you
goes
get,
down
dude?
to like, yeah, that just goes down to basic chivalry. Like, come on.
Like, bruh, you clearly see him trying to do something, and then you're like, "Oh, here you go,
Yeah.
take her."
Have this girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was awful. And
not
like,
cool.
yeah, that was upsetting too. But let's be real. The real champion is Singhua. Like,
Yeah.
come
Yes.
on, man.
I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sanghua. But I also wanted to point out, I was I really felt bad for the conductor too, because he also did everything he possibly could for people, and
Yeah,
even to the bitter end, like he tried, to save people and let people know what was going on and stuff, like he didn't even know if anyone was still alive, and he was
oh yeah, and
still
you're still doing the
he was still talking,
announcements.
yeah, doing the
Yeah.
announcements, saying, like, kind of keeping everybody updated, or whoever was left, and like, and then when he sees the businessman run out, he immediately is like trying to get him to get on the train that he's about to take, and then when he sees
Yeah.
the businessman fall down, he gets up, or
Yeah,
he
he
gets out
does.
and goes
Aw,
after the
yeah.
businessman, and as soon as he reaches the businessman, he just fucking gets up and pushes the conductor down and just
Yeah.
leaves, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
you have to be another level of like evil and selfish to just do that to
Ass.
someone. Like, I don't even know how you could do that, but yeah, the
Yeah.
conductor and the husband slash awesome bro,
Awesome man.
Mr. Hero.
Mr. Awesome.
Senor hero.
Yeah.
Can we have a moment of silence for Singhua?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. All right. Question number 9. If the four of us were put straight into this movie, assuming we spoke Korean, what are each person's chances of survival?
Still have to read the subtitles.
Oh my god.
You like hold Google Translate up to their mouth when they're speaking.
Even the zombies. Probably 0. We would have been betrayed by some asshole.
Yeah.
For all of
Businessman.
us?
Yeah.
Dang.
Because just, even the grandma opening the door, that just wiped out everyone in that compartment.
That is true.
Yeah.
So just one slip up and everyone's dead, because that's how life is.
Pretty much.
If we were being chased by those zombies, I would say our chances are pretty slim. I think, if anything, if we were to be people, I think we'd probably be the baseball guy and the girlfriend, just like, come on guys, we're almost there, and then some dick is like, hey, let me throw you, and that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, so I think I did this wrong, but I did it by person. So here we go. For Kyle, I said Kyle stands a pretty good chance of survival. I would put him in comparison to Sanghua, prioritizing the safety and well-being of others first. I also think that he would be the type to sacrifice himself to get others out. Chances of survival based on the situation 60%.
Nice.
For Trevor and Gigi, I think these two stand a good chance of survival, but only if they are together. Separate, or if they are separated, it lessens their chance. They are
Yeah.
comparable to the baseball player and his girlfriend in the film. If they were separated, I believe wholeheartedly that their goals would only be to get back to one another and survive together. If one went down, I don't think the other would want to live without them. Chances of survival based on the situation 50%. And then for me, I said, I think I stand a pretty good chance of survival as well. I think I'm also kind of comparable to Sanghua in that I would be prioritizing the safety of others before myself, despite all our Rambo Hannah jokes. Also, I think might have a bit of a dark streak and try to take out the businessman, or at least incapacitate him, especially if I saw that he was actively sacrificing people to survive. I would do whatever I could to stop him, even if that meant leaving him behind alone to fend for himself. So my
Nice.
chances are probably around a 50 to 60% also.
Nice. Hannah, that was kind of the question, so you're good.
Oh, yay!
I mean, it could have been interpreted different ways, but that's what I was sort of imagining. Um, so for me, I kind of just went along the same path as what Trevor said. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that none of us survive. Like I think this sort of zombie apocalypse where they're just so rabid and so fast, like I just feel like it's a very slim chance of survival. I mean, I don't think any of us would go out without a fight, but I think at the end of the day, we wouldn't be any of the people walking through that tunnel at the end of the movie, um, just because of all the points that Hannah kind of pointed out. Like, I kind of agree with what she said. I think that Gigi and Trevor, they're kind of like a package deal. And and then me and Hannah being more of you know sort of like the protector type role and trying to make sure other people's safety and even going as far as maybe sacrificing ourselves. So I think all of us at one point would probably die, and none of us would make it out.
R.I.P.
This
Yeah.
has been our last podcast.
Yeah, R.I.P. the movie Squawk slash Zombie Squawk.
Zombie Squawk.
Zombie Squawk.
Tune in
That's
for that
the
next.
yeah, that's the new
That's funny.
podcast, Zombie Squawk.
We're just like,
Yeah, we're just constantly just.
Sounds like those guys in Dead Space, the ones attached to the wall, and they spit out those little thingies.
Oh God,
Thank
yeah. They're like more screaming though.
Yeah.
They're like
That would
ah.
be the Gigi version.
Hey!
I fully believe if Gigi was a zombie, she would be making those like noises that she makes.
Oh god,
Yeah.
as long as I'm not the screaming zombie from Resident Evil 6. I like those guys.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
They're just so loud. It's annoying.
All right. Anyway, back to the podcast. So that's it for all the questions. And
Okay, bye.
no, moving on to the typical Rotten Tomato score and all that good stuff.
That good kush.
Yeah. So this movie on Rotten Tomatoes got a 94% from critics and an 89% from audiences. What do you think of those?
I enjoyed the movie for what it was. It was a zombie movie based on a father and his daughter. It had a really cool character in Sanghua. Um, I think it showed an accurate portrayal of how easily people would betray each other for their
Yeah.
own survival. Um, I would give it like a 90%. Um, I don't know if that rating would change if they were killed in the tunnel,
Hmm.
but as it is, I would give it a 90%.
Yeah, 94 and 89. Yeah, I would say it'd be like a 90, 92
Oh,
or
okay.
so. Um,
The subtitles don't take it down for you.
no, that's why it's not 100. No, um, no, I don't particularly like doing subtitles, but like, I don't know. Now I just watch TV with subtitles, so it doesn't really bother me as much as it used to. So
Hmm.
um, I'm okay with subtitles. But like, I think it was a pretty good movie. I agree with like it being more realistic than a normal zombie movie, and it's definitely not a comical zombie movie, which I tend to watch more of than actual real zombie movies. So yeah, it was enjoyable.
For me, I gave it a 94%. I based it on these points. One, I'm a sucker for dad and daughter stories. That's always going to get me. Um, Two, I think the emphasis was placed on the right characters, which is the ones that we were supposed to care about. We knew which ones we were.
Hmm.
Mm.
Three, the authenticity of the zombies, like the commitment by those actors to like fling themselves at things, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and run around like crazy. Like those were some of the most realistic zombies I've ever seen. Those were great and terrifying.
Yes.
Um, Four, the brilliant set design. There was, not many sets in the train, but like once we were kind of outside the train and um, especially after like the second station and where they're running from fiery trains and all that stuff. Like there's just some really great shots and some really brilliant sets, I think. And that part of the world where they were was is really beautiful anyways, so to see like something like a zombie apocalypse take over such a beautiful place is kind of what I was going for earlier with the end of innocence and end of purity thing. Like that's
Yeah.
definitely honed in there. And then, yeah, I think the only thing that drug it down for me a little bit was that side plot with the dad's business. I thought it was unnecessary and really didn't need to be in there. Um, but yeah, overall, I really liked it, and I think this being my second time watching it, I definitely rate it a little higher than when I first watched it. I think I was paying more attention this time, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
For me, I would go with like the audience score, um, or I'm sorry, no, the other one, the what do you call it? The critic score, 94. 94, 95. I should just lead off with that. Um, yeah, I
Oh,
think I
two
think for
seconds.
me, this was a really good film, really great film. I really enjoyed the character developments and the characters and how they sort of interacted. And like Hannah was just saying, the emphasis that they put on certain characters, like these are the characters that they want you to care about, and you can really root for these people. Um, the ones that are main characters. I mean, really, you want to root for a lot of the people in this movie, besides the asshole businessman and some of the people that were just like yelling at our main characters and just like being sheep led to the slaughter. But another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is I noticed it just watching it with you guys. Um, obviously it's a serious movie, and it's a dramatic movie, and it has a lot of serious topics. But I think it's one of those movies where you can still sort of enjoy it with a group of people like we did, and like not make fun of it, but like just kind of make little side comments and jokes along the way. And I think it's like a perfect movie to have that sort of idea in it, because I noticed that when we were watching it, there's a lot of comments happening between us, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that.
It sounds like you are.
No, no. There's just a lot of like us just kind of like being silly and like making light of the situation. And as the movie progresses, I noticed that those comments stopped because the movie just becomes so serious and so like you get so drawn in by these characters that you've gotten to know over the course of the movie. And I think that just shows like another layer of how good the depth of these characters are. Um, thanks to the writers and the actors even. So yeah, I think it's just one of those movies that like, you can really enjoy it whether you're alone or if you're watching it with a group of people because it's like it's just that good. So, yeah. And then the next question, usual question, what is your favorite moment or favorite scene from this movie?
It's when the dad's the baseball player, and I believe like maybe one other person were trying to make their way up the train,
Yeah.
cart by cart, and like they found out like the zombies can't operate in the dark for some reason, and then I believe that's one of the scenes where Sanghua like with one arm just lifts up a zombie to the top and then like slams it down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like a total badass. That was my favorite scene.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Where like they're all fighting their way over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an awesome sequence because it's like a 10-minute thing. Like it takes a
Yeah.
while, but it's so worth it.
Um, though it's not my like favorite thing to watch, but his name's Singwan, I think is how you say it. Um, just his last moments, like when he realized he's gonna be a zombie. Um, he still continues to fight. He still continues to try to be the protector, like for his wife and his unborn baby. I don't know. There's something about that. It was nice.
Yeah.
Though he was gonna die.
Nay.
Yeah.
Um, I think, well, I obviously love all the Sanghua moments. That I couldn't pick one out of those. I just love him.
I love him so much.
I do. He's great.
He is.
But I think I have two favorite moments out of the whole thing. One was a silly one, and it's when the pile of zombies is like hitchhiking on the back of the train,
Oh
and
god,
they're
yeah.
just dragging this huge amount of zombies that are just in a pile.
Yeah.
Like they coordinated for just that thing. I was just like, I was cracking up during that. It's so stupid.
Let's work
It's so
together.
funny. Yeah, we're just a mass of bodies.
Yeah.
But I think my overall like favorite movie moment is when they're walking in the tunnel and your butt's clenched because the guy is pulling down on the trigger, and then you start hearing I think it's Suan, right?
yeah.
Suan, I think,
Swan,
something like
yeah.
that.
Swan?
You just start hear her singing, and it's such a like innocent little voice coming from that big old tunnel, but it's enough to make those guys stop.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just such a precious moment, and I'm just like, oh, I can't with that. That's like right in my
emotions.
heartstrings. So yeah, I love it. There's so much symbolism behind that, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
For me, I really liked all the later interactions between Sanghua and Seok Woo. Um, like when they were kind of like on the same page and fighting together. Like I like the part in the bathroom when the three of them are in there, him and and the two fathers and then the young baseball player guy. Um, and like they were all just kind of like it's a really fucked up situation, but they still find a way to sort of like joke around with each other
Yeah.
in a really like weird way, but it works, like it feels authentic to me. Because I feel like at least Sanghua of the three, like he's kind of like the guy that would kind of make the best of any situation. Um, and I could really feel that in that scene. And I just feel like that's the moment when they all just kind of became friends. Like
Mhm.
they're doing this for the sake of the people that they love. Um, and like not only are they just working together because they have to, but because they are actually kind of like not enjoying it, but they're developing a friendship between each other, and I really just like that scene for its simplicity um and then also like when Senghua is about to die and make that ultimate sacrifice, like that was a really powerful scene between him and the father because he was telling him like, hey, take care of my wife, make sure she gets out of here alive, and you know, Siak Wu is feeling a lot of different feelings in that moment. Like I feel like he's feeling regret for maybe being mean to him at first when they first met, and I feel like there was a little bit of like thankfulness, like he sort of showed him how to fight these zombies in this situation, and he's telling him like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," this and that, and then the part that really gets me is when he turns around and he doesn't even like try to get his wife's attention. He just says the name of his daughter.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he just
Mhm.
says it, and then she looks back at him and he's like, that's our daughter's name." And it was just a really sweet moment. Um, really sad, but really sweet at the same time. So yeah, and then the final question: is there anything that you would change?
Yeah. Um, get rid of the phone call where the main character learns about the bio leak thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary. And then add on why the train was on fire because I need to know that now.
Oh my
The
It's a
train
god.
coming from
train.
the opposite direction.
It's made of metal. It shouldn't be on fire, but it was, and I need to know why.
I told you, Trevor, it's Ghost Rider. He
Yeah, it's
He
Ghost
upgraded.
got a
Rider.
train.
Yeah.
Real
Um,
though, why?
for me, I think what was kind of odd, um, and I probably would take it out, is I would keep, so when he calls his mom or she calls him, I can't remember how it went. As she's turning, she calls his estranged wife a bitch, which I think is very odd because I felt like she was always like, well, you should fix things with your wife, you should do this and that, and like I don't know why turning into a zombie would have you create this anger or this, I don't know,
Yeah.
hatred towards a person. So I thought that was kind of weird and not necessary. Like I said, I'd probably keep the part where she's like turning on the phone, but like take out the end.
And the
I just
part where
thought it
she
was weird.
hangs up, because like that, why would she hang
Yeah,
up if
because
she's
really
turning?
is silly. Yeah, that wouldn't have happened
Let me just. Oh,
either.
I don't want to use my minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not after 9 p.m.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of as to maybe why she she called her that when she was turning is like, I feel like just I don't even know. Like she seemed very reserved before, like
Yeah.
and everything, but I think in that moment she just knew like I'm not gonna make it out of here. I need to express my true feelings about this
Yeah.
It
woman
was
because
kind of weird.
she probably just hated the mom the whole time, but
But
didn't want
never
to
wanted to
say
admit
that
it.
maybe in front of the daughter or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe,
the
but
daughter obviously still loved her mother, but like maybe this we'll call her grandma for now.
yeah.
She
Gam gam.
yeah Gam Gam. Maybe she really just did like in her heart of hearts hate this woman for leaving that child and um, separating herself.
Right, but like at
But
the same time, she was always like, "Oh, you should fix things with her," and like it sounded like the mom was trying to like see the daughter more, but because like maybe the husband made more money or because he's the man, like he got custody of her or was taking care of her more often. Um, I just thought it was really weird.
it is
Yeah.
weird. It is kind of odd.
The way I saw it is I feel like this infection, um, you can kind of relate it to like when people get drunk and they kind of have this, like they tell the truth more, or like
Yeah, their
like
filter
people
just
like,
pops off.
yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what happened with this grandma when she was turning, because I mean you could kind of see it with other people as they're turning, like you see what really
They become
drives
angrier.
them. Yeah, like some of them go angrier, but like Senghua, like he fought to the bitter end until he was no longer able to, because he literally just turned into a zombie mid-fight.
Yeah,
And same with the businessman, like he to his final like moment before he turned, he was just this desperate asshole who was just selfish. And
yeah,
I feel like this infection towards the bitter end shows is supposed to be like, it's supposed to like kind of show people's true colors, I guess,
yeah,
Hmm.
of like who they are. I mean,
yeah,
that could be a leap, but I just feel like that's kind of that what maybe the grandma was going through in the end. Like she was just expressing what she really felt in that moment. And another thing is the infection. Like these zombies are, they could be described as angry or aggressive, because that's what they are. And I feel like those feelings from the grandma were aggressive. So that's another thing. Like maybe it was just the infection sort of taking over and making her way more aggressive than she usually would be, I guess, with her
yeah.
words. So,
It's weird. There's a lot of zombie um, infections in different media that all deal with like something happening to the brain, and that's what causes like aggression. Because pretty much like all the zombies that we encounter want to eat you or are aggressive in some way, and they
yeah.
always count it back to like something going wrong with the center in your brain that controls anger, and that's usually like a common zombie theme. So that could be it
Yeah,
too.
that was
Mhm.
my take from that.
Mm.
But anyways.
Zombie smash.
I think for me, like I mentioned before, the side plot with the dad's company stuff being involved, like taking that out entirely. I didn't think it was needed, and it didn't add much of anything, or at least didn't add in the way that the filmmakers intended it to. So I would have taken that out, left it the way it was.
Yeah. Um, for me, I think, let's see, what would I
Oh no,
change?
guys, he's thinking.
I didn't I didn't write anything down, but
Wow.
I would probably say that um I don't know. I really I really think I don't want to say get rid of the businessman, because I think every movie needs a character like that,
Yeah, he was
sort of.
vital to that story.
Yeah. Um, he was an antagonist, and I think he was
Yeah.
even worse than the zombies, because he was just this selfish asshole who put himself in
Humanity
front of
often
everyone.
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if there was some kind of, I don't know, like I feel like I got to a point where the businessman doing the things that he was doing just got old, you know? And like the way he just pushed that girl out of the way and then she got bit and then the other guy died, like I thought that was really shitty the way they just went out. Like I was really rooting for them. And I thought they were, at least the baseball player, I thought he was strong and um I
Did
totally
he
get.
remind you of yourself?
Totally, yeah. Just Korean. But yeah,
Yes.
I think I get why he sat behind and just let her eat him. Like I get that. It's love. But
Is it?
I mean, I don't know, at the beginning of the movie he was like totally like against it and he was just like, dude, just leave me alone, you weirdo.
Kyle, would you let your girlfriend eat you?
Oh God.
I don't want to talk about that. Um
Gigi, would you let Trevor eat you?
Ah.
That was a long pause.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. It's a little weird. I don't want to think about it.
Trevor would probably be like, yes, of course.
No, I would try to survive. Just because she's dead doesn't mean I have to be.
Right, okay. We'll see about that.
Yeah, just come up with a zombie thing.
Zombie
We'll
virus.
test that out.
Oh my God.
Somebody get some fungus.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how I would change it, but just the businessman being who he is, it's hard to really change someone like that.
Give
But
him a gun.
Oh my God.
no,
I don't think he needs one.
no,
Not
give
for the
everyone
zombies,
else a
but for the
gun.
people.
For the people.
No,
Jeez.
fuck that guy. Yeah, and also maybe Squak, maybe he could survive and not die. That'd be great.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher comes out as soon as you guys have been pranked. Or punked.
Camera here.
Punked.
There's a camera here.
Yeah. That's what needed to happen.
Yeah. All right, so that was Train to Busan and all the questions involved and, all that good
Zombies
stuff.
were not hurt. during
No
the making of
zombies.
this
Through.
podcast.
No zombies, no
Oh,
deer
God.
were harmed in the making of this film.
But
So yeah, that's it. Trevor, do you have a tease that you would like to tease for the next one?
yes.
Well, just come out and say it. The next movie we're going to be watching is Stand By Me.
Woo!
Stephen King.
Never seen it.
Never
What?
seen it. I don't think I have.
I think I've seen parts of
Wow.
it, but I don't think I've actually seen the whole movie together.
It stars a young Will Wheaton.
Who?
Will Wheaton?
Come again?
I can't believe you guys haven't seen that.
Well, sorry to disappoint you.
I'm not. She should be expecting this now.
All right. So yeah, that's it. Stay tuned for more Homie Squawk, Movie Squawk, other shit, And
There is Squawk, there is Squawk. Everywhere, Squawk, Squawk.
Squawk, Squawk.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Kyle.
the end.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.